Hello everyone, my name is Natan, I'm Eternus 6 and I make educational content about Deadlock, including free coaching. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. And today, we're going to be taking a look at my updated Natan ZapzapPewpew 7 build. So in this video, I'll just be discussing it, but I will also be uploading another gameplay commentary in a few days where I will be playing with the build. So stay tuned for that as well. So here's the name, build ID will also be in the description of course, and you can find it here as well. So let's go over the skill point order first. We're still going to be maxing our surge first because that's just your most consistent source of damage and it helps you farm. But now, as you may have guessed by the thumbnail, we are back to maxing ball. So we're going to be maxing ball second. And the reason we do this is because the ult got nerfed pretty significantly a few times in a row now. I still think you can max it second. If you want to do so, all you have to do really is just not max your ball second, skip rapid recharge, and maybe skip ethereal shift, and then go unstoppable, you need it for ult, and lightning scroll, infuser, warp stone, that kind of stuff. You can definitely still do that. I think it's viable. And why aren't we maxing our stun second? Well, that's because counterspell got buffed really hard, and it feels kind of bad if you put a bunch of points in it and then people just counterspell it anyways. So yeah. Alright, let's go over the items. So we're going to start off with the laning core items. You're going to buy these roughly left to right. It's not a hard left to right, but if you're a lazy little rat, you can definitely just buy these left to right every game and you're going to do just fine. So monster rounds is just going to help you clear waves and clear jungle camps early. It's going to give you some out of combat regen as well. But you're going to sell this pretty early into the game already if you need slots. Then we're going to go compress cooldown and you're going to impute this on your power surge. And when you have 2 points in your surge, you'll see it's at a 26-second cooldown. So you'll have it up every single wave because waves spawn every 30 seconds. And in good matchups, that's going to help you push harder and take the enemy guardian. But in neutral or bad matchups, it's going to make sure you can neutralize, keep the wave out of your guardian and prevent the enemies from taking it. Then we're going to go suppressor, which has great base stats, 6 spirit power, 75 bonus health. And of course, it's going to reduce people's fire rate for 4 seconds whenever you hit them with spirit damage. And 7's entire kit is AoE spirit damage. So you're going to be constantly reapplying this to everyone the entire game. Next up, we got Enchanter's Emblem, which is just a great stat stick. It's going to give you spirit resist, out of combat regen, and whenever you're above 65% health, you're going to get spirit power and ability cooldown. And finally, we got Extra Charge, which is, well, just going to do exactly that. It's going to give you an additional charge. And when you have 1 point in ball and Extra Charge, you're going to have 3 charges, which is just nice for farming and fighting. And finally, for the laning phase, we have the sustain options over here. I would generally go for Healing Rite because I think it's a better item than extra regen, because its strength still carries over into the mid game. It's going to help you roam because of the 2 sprint speed that it gives as well. And it's going to keep you healthy while jungling. But extra regen is also good if you're in a lane where you just get poked constantly by some chip damage, and it's going to just heal that right back up. Alright, so after the laning phase, you're going to buy these core items roughly left to right again. Top row first, of course. So we're going to start off with Fleet Foot, which is going to give you bullet resist, slide distance, and it's going to remove the movement speed penalty while shooting. So when shooting, if you don't have this item, you'll see I'm at 9.1 right now, and if I shoot, I drop to 6.4. But when I buy the funny Fleet Flute item, it's going to stay at 9.1. And the reason this is better on 7 than any other hero is because 7 has movement speed that scales with spirit. So you'll see, again, I'm at 9.1 right now, and when I buy Boundless, I'm at 11. That means that the percentage movement speed penalty while shooting is going to be more punishing on 7 because you have more movement speed, so you lose more from the percentage. And Fleet Foot is just going to completely eliminate that penalty. And of course, it also has the active where you get movement speed and slow resist. And then next up, we have Extra Spirit. And you might think, why don't we just buy Improved Spirit right after as well? Well, that's because of the Spirit investment bonuses. And these got buffed as well this patch, so it's a little bit more important to pay attention to these now. So what we're going to do is just buy this because that's going to bring you up to the next one. If you were to buy Improved Spirit as well, then that's not going to bring you to the next one. So all that would do is just give you 8 spirit power, as opposed to buying extra spirit here, which is going to give you 60. So instead of buying extra spirit, we're first going to continue buying some vitality items. And then when you buy superior cooldown and improved spirit, those 2 together are going to bring you up to the next one again. So spirit shielding, I covered in my most recent item meta video. And this item is absolutely crazy. It's just going to give you a 450 approximately barrier. And again, barriers work against both damage types, weapon and spirit. The item also gives you movement speed, out of combat regen, and this is so easy for the enemy team to proc. Literally every single hero in the game can proc this on you. So amazing item. It's just going to allow you to take a lot more damage, really. Then we got Healbane. If you have any slot issues at this point, you're going to sell monster rounds, healing rite, extra regen. But you could also hold on to any of these and just wait with buying Healbane for a bit and just continue upgrading these first, that's also fine. So Healbane is going to give you 7 spirit power, which is great for a vitality item, and it's going to apply healing reduction to anyone you do spirit damage to. And again, on 7, your entire kit is AoE spirit damage, and it's especially good because your teammates are probably not going to buy Healbane or any healing reduction for that matter. Then we got superior cooldown, which is going to give you 4 out of combat regen, which is really nice, and it's now going to reduce all of your ability cooldowns. So when you have 1 point in stun, that's going to be at 17 seconds, and your ball is going to go from 26 seconds to 20 seconds. Then, like I said, we're going to buy improved spirit to get to the next spirit investment. Rapid recharge is also going to bring you to the next spirit investment, and this is going to give you an additional charge again, but also it's going to reduce the time between charges. So if you don't have this item, it's going to be 8 seconds between casting a ball, but if you have rapid recharge, it's going to be 4 seconds. And next up we have E-Shift. This is my favorite item in the entire game, but that's not the only reason it's in here. I genuinely believe that this is an amazing item for 7, because on 7 you have no defensive abilities whatsoever, no escapes, and E-Shift is going to bring you right up to the next spirit investment bonus yet again. And it's an amazing item because it allows you to dodge anything and stall for 4 seconds. And the cooldown already starts ticking when you press it. So that's amazing. If you pick up Transcendent cooldown later on, it's going to be a 14. So basically a 10-second cooldown. But even without Transcendent cooldown, you can really just use this pretty much twice in a fight. That's 8 seconds per fight where you are completely invulnerable to anything. And afterwards, you get the buffs for 5 seconds, 3 movement speed, 30% spirit resist, 20 spirit power, which are all amazing stats as well for 7. And finally, for the core items, we have Boundless Spirit, which is just a static spirit increase, which is nice for 7. Unfortunately, it doesn't bring you up to the next spirit investment bonus. To get there, you would have to buy another tier 2 spirit item like Slowing Hex, Mystic Vuln, or Quicksilver, or of course, a more expensive one. So that's it for the core items, but in between these core items, you're often gonna want to pick up 1 or 2 of these mid-game situational items. So first off, we have Slowing Hex, which is great against movement-reliant characters. So when you use Slowing Hex on, for example, Lash, he can't use his grapple anymore, Abrams can't use his shoulder charge, Eternus can't use his Flame Dash, and Dynamo and Mirage can't use their movement abilities to dodge your stun anymore, so it's great against them as well. Then we got Return Fire, which is great against a lot of M1, so gun heroes. So if you're playing against Wraith, Haze, Eternus in the enemy team, this is a great item because it's going to give you more bullet resist, and whenever they shoot you and you activate this, it's going to return 60% of the bullet damage they do right back to them. Then we got Reactive Barrier, which is great against heavy CC teams. And you can actually also build this in lane sometimes already. So if you're playing against, for example, Bebop Vindicta, they proc it very easily on you because Vindicta procs it with her stake and Bebop procs it with his hook. And I think maybe also his uppercut, but I'm not entirely sure about that. However, do be aware that Reactive Barrier doesn't work against knockups. So Dynamo Stomp, Lash Slam, and Holiday Barrel, it doesn't work against. Then we have Debuff Reducer, which builds into both Unstoppable and Debuff Remover, which are both great items, so you're just gonna build this if you want either of these. Then we got Spirit Lifesteal, which builds into Infuser, and this is better the later into the game you go, because it gains value when you do more spirit damage, of course. So I wouldn't really pick this up at this point, like after Fleetfoot or something, but rather after maybe E-Shift or Boundless. And finally, of course, we have Counterspell over here, which I also covered in my recent video, and this item got buffed as well. It now heals you, it gives crazy base stats, bonus health, and spirit power, and it has a very generous 1 second spell parry duration, so any spell that hits you during this parry window is gonna give you the buffs, and it's gonna block that spell. So great item. Alright, and finally we have the survivability, damage, and utility optional categories over here. There's no more left to right. You're gonna have to think for yourself what you like, what fits your playstyle, what's good with your team, and what's good against the enemy team. So first off, we have Infuser, which is going to give you Lifesteal, Spirit Resist, bonus health, and of course the active, which gives you a ton of Spirit Lifesteal and Spirit Power for a 6 second duration. Then we have Unstoppable, which again, if you still choose to play for your ult, then this item is a must buy. It's going to guarantee you get at least 5 seconds duration on it. Then we have Debuff Remover, which is great if you're, well, playing against a lot of debuffs. So if you're playing against Vindicta, Infernus, Pocket or something, then this item is amazing. We got Warpstone over here, which is a 16 second, 11 second if you have Transcendent cooldown. Teleport, that's going to give you 40% bullet resist after. And in combination with E-Shift, that's going to make you very, very slippery. And of course, because this one gives bullet resist and E-Shift gives spirit resist, then these two items are going to cover your resists as well, which is very nice. Then we got Stamina Mastery, which I haven't really been buying a lot at all recently, but I still think it's good late game. And what this does is it's gonna allow you to air dash twice and also triple jump. And it's gonna increase your air dash distance as well. So it's gonna allow you to be pretty nimble and quick. And then we have Spirit Resilience over here, which I would kind of just treat as a replacement for Enchanter's Emblem late game. But Escalating Exposure and E-Shift also give Spirit Resist. And if you buy Escalating and upgrade to Transcendent cooldown as well, that's gonna max out the Spirit investment bonus. And I think that's generally just better than buying Spirit Resilience. And Mystic Vuln is nice if the enemies are building a lot of Spirit Resist. Of course, you already do have built-in Shred with your first point in Power Surge. But if you need even more Shred, then Mystic Vuln is very nice. And it's also going to bring you to the next investment bonus, again, like I said. Then Crippling Headshot is nice because it's going to boost your weapon investment. And it's going to give you even more Shred and healing reduction. Burst Fire, I would kind of just ignore. I'm just testing it, really. And then we have Quicksilver Reload and Magnum, which are still solid items, I'd say, if you're playing like Die Hard for Surge. But I don't think they're amazing anymore, but yeah, if you like them, you can build them still. Then for the utility category, we have Silence Wave, which is still a broken item. It's going to reduce people's spirit resist, spirit power, and it's going to, of course, silence them for almost 4 seconds. And it is AoE. It's very easy to hit. You can hit multiple people, of course. And if you chain it with your stun, then it's guaranteed to hit. Then we have Transcendent cooldown. Now, I wouldn't really prioritize this item at all. It only really gains value when you have a lot of active items, because all it really does compared to superior cooldown is give you 5% ability cooldown reduction and then 30% item cooldown reduction. So it's only really worth buying if you already have a lot of active items. But of course, if the game goes on for long enough, then you're gonna pick this up anyways at some point. And finally, we have Lightning Scroll, which is mainly for ult builds again, but I mean, technically, you don't really need to be an ult build, because all you need to do is just hit people with your ult for a brief moment, so you could just tap your ult and cancel it, and you'll still stun people, but I don't know, it's up to you if you like it. Alright, so I'll just quickly go over an example build. So let's say you bought Return Fire during the mid game as well, and you have, of course, the core items, and then you might pick up Spirit Life Seal because you want to buy Infuser. Maybe you're playing against a lot of debuffs, so you pick up Debuff Remover. I actually don't have actives anymore, so at this point you would sell Return Fire then. You can definitely sell Spirit Shielding at this point as well. And you might pick up Transcendent Cooldown because you have a lot of actives. It's gonna bring you to the next Spirit investment bonus as well. And you might pick up Crippling Headshot to deal with their resists. And it's gonna give you some more weapon investment. And finally, to max out the Spirit investment bonus, you might go Escalating Exposure, which is again also going to give you some additional Spirit resist. So this is what an example full build could look like. Of course, you can also sell Suppressor, Enchanter's Emblem, and Healwin at this point if you want. But I doubt your games go on for this long anyways, so yeah. Alright, so that was my updated Surge plus Ball Reborn build. I really hope you guys find a lot of success with this build. If you do, please let me know. Of course, if you have any questions or anything is unclear, do ask in the comments, I always reply. And also again, gameplay commentary with this build coming out in a few days, and free coaching as well. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. That really helps out my channel. And with all of that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye bye.